Yes. Lucy, how could you forget?
Okay, I didn't realize that was going to be so problematic.
Lucy. A few more sips of coffee. Hello and welcome to Scrolling with Hayley. I'm Hayley Carania and happy Wednesday. It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. The Bongino boys are going to go to trivia tonight, and I am one of the Bongino boys, honorary member of the Bongino boys.
We roll real deep.
We roll deep at trivia. We've been going on Tuesday nights, but this week we were convinced, or Andrew convinced everyone to be on his schedule. For whatever reason, Andrew didn't want to go to trivia yesterday. Why was that?
I'm mentally committed to making steak and fries with my wife.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
So the truth comes out. Okay, that's fine.
Was delicious.
That's fair. And honestly, steak and fries, much better than the trivia night that we were going to anyway. But tonight is a new night, and it's going to be a new venue, new host, new questions. We have I don't know, maybe just like it's like a breath of fresh air. We'll just have change of scenery, and maybe we'll really knock it out of the park. Maybe I'll go live on Rumble and we could tap into our fans and our lifelines. No, I'm just kidding. We won't cheat. But we'll see. I have I have to get up for my flight at 3:30 in the morning, so I didn't want to go, but I've been bullied into going. So here I go. We'll update you next week, the next live show that I have. Quick programming note. I will say that tomorrow what's tomorrow? Thursday?
Yes.
Thursday I have a show. I will see you tomorrow. Friday, I will not. Friday, no show. And then I will see you right back here on Monday. So tomorrow I will see you. Friday, I will not see you. Monday, I will see you. Okay. So let's get into the show, shall we? Google's parent company, they want to release 32 million mosquitoes in California and Florida. What could go right? And then the Freedom Ship cruise liner that 50,000 people can live on is going viral. Again, what could go right? And then a massive scrolling time segment for you because I didn't have some yesterday. I'm going to have double for you today. Chock full of race baiters and not so tolerant liberals, and a woman who she actually paid a pet psychic to tell her that her cat is a sassy gay man who wants a gay lover. All of that and so much more. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to subscribe to this show. Rumble.com/Hayley's where you can watch us live. If you can't catch us live, you can watch whenever you want. You could watch on Spotify or listen on your favorite podcast platform. As soon as this show ends, it'll be available on those other platforms. I don't care how you listen or when you listen. All I care is that you do and that you tell a friend. And without further ado, a quick message from our sponsors for today. First up is America's Gold Company. In these uncertain times, one thing is certain. Many central banks are selling U.S. Treasuries and buying more gold than at any time in modern history. One major U.S. bank is now telling their clients to put 20% of their portfolio in gold, replacing half of their bonds. And when some of the biggest money in the world moves from dollar to gold, it is worth asking why. Thankfully, my trusted partner, America's Gold Company, put together a comprehensive guide to help you protect and grow your life's work. They sent me their gold guide. It is wonderful. It lays out everything in a way that is very easy to understand how physical gold is held in an IRA, but it would be under my name, under my control, and no institution comes between me and my gold. So if you want to learn more, go to claimmygoldguide.com/scroll to claim your free 2026 gold guide from America's Gold Company that helps show you exactly how you could move a portion of your IRA or 401k into physical gold without triggering taxes or penalties, plus up to $10,000 in free silver for qualified purchase. That's claimmygoldguide.com/scroll. Individual results may vary. Consult with your financial professional before making an investment decision. I also want to tell you about Blackout. You know how important my morning coffee is, so let me tell you about the one I've been drinking lately, Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee is an American coffee company known for bold flavor, high quality beans, and roasting fresh right here in the U.S. Every order ships straight to your door, so you always have an amazing cup whenever you need it. What I love is how smooth and rich it tastes without any bitterness. Perfect balance of flavor and energy, getting me through busy mornings and long days. You can try their subscribe and save program so you can always have a fresh cup of coffee on hand. Switch flavors anytime, pause or cancel whenever you want. Plus, get discounted pricing, free shipping, and reward points on every order. It is simple, flexible, and saves you money. They offer dark roast, flavored coffees, espresso blends, and more. Something for every coffee lover. Now is the time to try Blackout Coffee, and I hope you do. Go to blackoutcoffee.com and use code SCROLL for 20% off your first order. Once you try it, you won't want to go back. Put those phones on Do Not Disturb. So here's a headline that stopped my scroll. Google wants to release up to 32 million good mosquitoes in California and Florida. And then it says, when you think of Google debugging something, you probably think of software, not actual bugs. Yet the tech giant is seeking approval from the United States government to release up to 32 million mosquitoes as part of its debug program. Google. Yes, Google. Big tech. They are behind this debug program, Google. And their mission is to get rid of mosquitoes that carry illnesses, which sounds great, right? Everyone wants to nobody likes mosquitoes. Nobody likes getting bitten by mosquitoes. It's summertime, wherever we're outside, barbecues, things like that. You're playing in the grass. Nobody likes mosquitoes. Actually, I believe that there was a mosquito in my bed. Maybe not last night, but the night before, because it everywhere. And I haven't been outside doing anything recently, so I think it was one in my room. Anyway, I hate mosquitoes. Everyone hates mosquitoes. And Google's mission is to get rid of the bad ones that carry illnesses. So if you're thinking, Google, why would Google be in the business of killing mosquitoes? Well, according to them, it's because this movement to kill bad mosquitoes requires lots of in-depth, fancy AI technology, and it'll help save the world and make people less sick. So it sounds really good. But if you ask me, I want to go get my tinfoil hat on. My mind goes directly to, big tech teaming up with the CDC. What could go right? What could go right? This could be a slippery slope, don't you think? When you hear big tech teaming up with the CDC, what do you think? You think this is a good thing? Or do you think this is a bad thing? What's your reaction when you see this?
All I can think of is the guy who's talking about releasing all the ticks that make you allergic to meat as solving a food crisis. I'm like, pass.
It's the tick that causes alpha-gal, and people are now allergic to red meat. This is rampant, especially where I grew up on Long Island. Further out on Long Island, it's huge. And I saw a TikTok the other day of this girl saying, if you're in the Nantucket area, it's all over the island. I've been going my whole life, and I've always been going, and we never had to worry about ticks. And now ticks are, the hot new thing, and Lyme disease is the hot new thing. Alpha-gal is a hot new thing. It's like all these bug-borne illnesses. So again, I think that this could be a slippery slope, because if they can release good bugs, they can certainly release bad bugs. Right? This is where my head goes. Guys, I don't trust big tech. I don't trust big tech as much as ever all of you in the chat. People are saying I have it. It's awful. I wonder if you're talking about the alpha-gal, the tick-borne illness that makes you allergic to red meat. I think it's red meat and dairy or something else. If Broken Nova in the chat, if that's you can let me know.
I just remember Zika. Like, that was like the biggest thing to avoid mosquitoes.
We're getting into it because it's not just Lyme that you have to worry about with ticks. It's not just Zika or West Nile. Like, I remember growing up, West Nile virus was the thing. I remember growing up in the 90s and playing outside and getting notifications that they're going to, helicopters are going to come by and spray something on all of us. Again, what could go wrong? What did they spray on all of us? Did it get rid of West Nile or did it give everyone autism? I don't know. Like, it could just be anything. So let's get into the slippery slope here, because I wonder what they're putting in the bugs, and then are they going to bite me, and then I'm going to turn into Spider-Man or something? Like, this is where my head goes, but we're going to get into what they're saying. And you might also be wondering, how would Google be allowed to do this? Well, they're trying to do this. So Debug is currently seeking permission via an experimental use permit from the Environmental Protection Agency under the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. And the experimental permit would allow them to do limited field testing, which of course they would like to do in Florida, where we live. Awesome. Why can't you test this in Africa? Where people are dying from these illnesses, people are not dying from them here. So why test them on us? This is my question that I'm going to get into. So they're going to do this. They're going to ask the EPA for this field test. And then, then they can, after they do this field test and they test it and they do some research, then they can go and get a full registration later on. And let me just say, if you see this headline and you're thinking, I don't like this, I don't want the EPA to give them permission, for the next 3 days until June 5th, you can leave a public comment on regulations.gov. And apparently, the EPA will review these comments before deciding whether or not to go through with this. So if you have a problem with this and you think that this is a slippery slope and this is some Bill Gates, big tech weirdness, which I think might be, I don't know, you can go and you can complain to the EPA. And maybe they won't go through with this. Maybe they'll say to Debug, you can F off and we don't want to do this here. So there's a chance that this won't happen. But even if the EPA allows this and goes through with this, local regulators would also have to approve, site-specific releases. So people in Florida and California would have to release this and get permissions and whatnot. But let's get into what they want to do. Debug claims that these mosquitoes are not going to be genetically modified in any way, despite the need for, fancy AI systems. They claim that this is completely natural. So Debug posted this video on their website. Let's watch this together.
The deadliest animal in the world kills more people each year than every other animal combined, makes hundreds of millions of people sick, and is half the length of a staple. It's the mosquito. And a lot of mosquitoes are bad bugs. Like one species, Aedes aegypti. These bad bugs bite, and these bad bugs breed. They're an invasive species that spreads diseases like Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Diseases that stop people from working and going to school. Most of these diseases don't have effective vaccines, so that means we have to stop the bad bugs. Except pesticides can be toxic, and clearing standing water is not enough because people can never find all the places that bad bugs live. So they almost always come back, biting and breeding. We need a better way to stop the bad bugs. Luckily, there are good bugs. They're the same kind of mosquito, but good bugs can't bite. Good bugs can't breed. And most importantly, good bugs can stop bad bugs. How? Well, nature, with a little bit of science mixed in. You raise mosquitoes that have a naturally occurring bacteria that makes it so they can't breed with bad bugs. Then you separate the males, because male mosquitoes can't bite. Then, when you release those males into the wild, they find bad bugs to mate with. But their eggs won't hatch, because of the bacteria in the good bug. So the next generation gets smaller. and smaller and smaller until all the bugs are practically gone. And unlike other methods, good bugs are harmless, and they naturally know exactly where to find bad bugs, because they're, bugs. Pretty good, right? Except for this to work, you need a lot of good bugs. And making a lot of good bugs is really, really hard. That's why we're starting Debug, a project to develop better technology to raise more good bugs. Technology like bug sorting algorithms, bug tracking sensors, and bug raising robots. That's right, bug raising robots. And with more good bugs in more places, it might finally be possible to stop the spread of mosquito-borne diseases. That way, more people could go to work. More people could go to school. More people could go outside without worrying about getting sick. And bad bugs could be a problem that's just as small as they are.
Okay, who's sold? Who's sold? I'm not. My favorite part of the video is when they said, we really need to do this, and it's very hard and it's very expensive, and we need to do this so that people can go to work. We need more people to go to work. People are not working because they're sick with Zika. Like, where? Not in the United States, not in Florida, not in California, where they want to do this. As if enough of us aren't working ourselves to the bone. They're like, get up and work. Don't get sick. Get up and work. And on Debug's frequently asked questions page, they explain that the process by which they aim to reduce the population is called cytoplasmic incompatibility. Basically, male birth control for mosquitoes brought to you by Google. Again, what could go wrong? And is this necessary in Florida and California? Not if you ask me. The diseases that are spread by these Aedes aegypti mosquitoes are dengue fever, Zika, chikungunya, yellow fever, Rift Valley fever virus, Mayaro virus, Venezuela equine encephalitis, and very rarely West Nile virus. These are the viruses. You tell me in the chat if you know someone who's gotten sick with anything like this in the United States. I don't think you're going to be able to come up with. I've never heard of anyone getting sick with anything like this. And it's because the numbers are very small. Very, very small. Now, a completely different kind of mosquito spreads malaria. But the Aedes aegypti mosquito is female, and it spreads all the other viruses that I mentioned. Now, let's talk about the numbers in the United States and why you would need 32 million mosquitoes to be, deployed into our population. 19 people have died from dengue fever in the U.S. over the last 10 years. 19 over the last 10 years. And the United States citizens who have contracted it abroad in places where this mosquito-borne illness is popular. So it is not necessary to deploy this in the United States. This year alone, there have been 1,000 cases in the U.S., no deaths. Zika virus, even more rare. And these cases are always travel-related as well. There was a small outbreak in 2016, which I know Andrew mentioned, and again, there was panic. Every time there's a mention of a disease or a sickness or an illness or anything, a pandemic, people freak out. This was before COVID even, and I remember I was graduating college and I was applying to work at NBC Sports for the Olympics. And I forget where it was, Brazil maybe? And it was a big Zika outbreak. And I remember my mom was like, I don't know if you want to go, because it's, if you're, not that I was pregnant and I've never been pregnant, but it's dangerous for pregnant women. So there were all these travel advisories put into place for pregnant women, considering the side effects and potential birth defects if contracted. So my question again is, why does Google need to deploy these good mosquitoes in Florida and California when nobody's getting sick here and nobody's dying here? Why not deploy this experiment where the viral outbreaks are occurring? And there are similar projects in Singapore and elsewhere, but I wonder because this is just where my brain goes, I have questions. I wonder if the mosquitoes that carry diseases will be able to detect, maybe not right away, but over time, and adapt to whether or not a male mosquito has that bacteria that prevents them from procreating. Because like any virus, they mutate, they adapt they need to find a host. So disease spreading mosquitoes, wouldn't they want to procreate with a mosquito that would help them spread that disease? And I'm just spitballing here. I'm not an expert. I'm not a scientist, and I am not a mosquito expert, although they do love me. When I get bitten by a mosquito, I think it's because I have O positive blood. I think people with O blood are much more likely to get bitten by mosquitoes. So I get eaten alive, and then, they blow up. Like if I scratch it, it becomes this big. So it's just, for me, I hate mosquitoes. But I'm wondering, will the females, the Aedes or aegypti mosquitoes, over time, will they be able to know? Will they be able to sense that bacteria in the males that will not allow them to procreate? I wonder if over time those mosquitoes will not engage with those males. And then we have a bunch of these, and they don't call them genetically modified, but they're going to be built with a bacteria in them and bred with a bacteria in them. So sort of. I wonder what the implications will be for us, because they don't bite, but certainly they're going to be in the environment. Maybe there's an issue with this bacteria, and I don't know. And I don't really trust these people to do the right thing. That's just where my head goes. So
here's a pic of you and the Bongino boys after we get bit by toxic mosquitoes.
Why didn't I get? Am I the girl?
Yeah, well, duh. But you've been bitten so much, you're immune to anything.
Perfect. Yeah. What could go wrong? And so I'm just thinking, because, these mosquitoes are not genetically modified, but I remember in college I took this science, technology, and society class. And we did an experiment where we had organic fruit and then genetically modified fruit, and we put them out and saw what animals would rather eat. And animals have adapted to know whether something is organic or genetically modified. And all the foods that humans eat in the grocery store, for the most part, are genetically modified. They genetically modify tomatoes to be big and bright red, and, peaches to be bigger and, more aesthetically pleasing, because we're more likely to buy it. That's what they're doing to us. And, they'll say that it's fine to eat genetically modified fruit. There's nothing wrong with it. But then why, when put out into the wild, why do animals prefer the organic? Certainly there's something in the fruit that the animals are reacting to or sniffing out. So that's why I think that over time, these mosquitoes are going to be able to sniff out the male mosquitoes with that bacteria that can't procreate, and they're going to be like, no, thank you. And they're going to go bang someone else. That's the way that it's going to happen, because they're going to want to survive, and they're going to want, it is by nature, animals want to procreate. So I think that this is just, they're delaying the inevitable. But eventually these mosquitoes are just going to, maybe they'll just die off. I don't know. Unless they're robot bred, which they said that they're going to be. Maybe they're going to be, I don't know. Maybe they're going to have superpowers. Who knows? And then it begs the question, because, I'm not a fan of mosquitoes, but what happens if mosquitoes were eradicated? Well, Google doesn't really want to eradicate mosquitoes. They don't think that wouldn't really make that much of a difference. But they also think that it wouldn't have that much of an impact on the ecosystem to get rid of these riskier species, because there's other species of mosquitoes, and basically they say that it's not going to make the ecosystem collapse. So they think that it's fine. You don't have to get rid of all of them, but you could certainly get rid of the ones that are spreading these illnesses, and it wouldn't have that much of an impact. It would have a positive impact rather than a negative one. But government agencies have recommended bug repellent with DEET in it as a means to protect yourself from biting mosquitoes. And of course, how long has that been going on? Decades. Because I remember when I was younger, putting on DEET. And a new study now published in the Journal of Experimental Biology found that mosquitoes can learn to associate the smell of DEET with food. So essentially, if you're spraying yourself with DEET to repel mosquitoes, they've actually adapted to love it. And they think if you have DEET on, that's my dinner. So now if you put this mosquito repellent on, you're actually attracting them. And essentially over time, they've adapted to this and become somewhat immune to it. And this is a little news report on that finding. Watch.
For as long as anyone can remember, there's been a battle between humans and mosquitoes. And the most effective weapon in our defense was even around at the time of this cartoon from the 1940s. Bug spray containing the chemical DEET.
And it works because it basically confuses the mosquitoes in it. When they try to land on you, it acts as a contact repellent, and it just sort of disrupts their olfactory system. They're just not attracted to you anymore.
Developed by the US Army in 1946, DEET, or diethylmetatoluamide, has kept us off the menu until now. These lab tests run by Virginia Tech University shows mosquitoes that bit people as DEET started to wear off, then associated the spray with dinner time, turning DEET into an attractant other than a repellent.
I'm not too concerned, really. You know, it's a very interesting study. If you condition them enough, then they will eventually ignore or prefer the smell of DEET because they associate that with a reward. But in the wild, that's not going to go down in the same way.
So we've been putting DEET on, again, this is a United States government experiment that they've told us that we need to put on. While it's not a carcinogen, it does, if you misuse it or if you use it a lot or if you breathe it in, it can lead to rare neurotoxic effects such as seizures and, of course, skin and eye irritation if you spray it in your eye, which is a skill issue. That's stupid, but it makes you think. It just makes you wonder. I mean, we put this stuff on and the mosquitoes adapt. So why wouldn't the mosquitoes adapt to this debug program as well? And citronella candles are also a complete scam. You just said what? You didn't know that? He says no. Andrew says no. Well, allow me to explain. So citronella candles, they only work in close proximity. So if you have a citronella candle maybe on the table where you're eating, it might have an effect. If you have it, under the table where your feet are, it can have an effect. But a lot of people put citronella candles like around the edges of their property. Those like tiki candles that have the citronella, like that doesn't do anything. Because if there's a breeze, the scent that is working to repel the mosquitoes goes away and it's nowhere near you either.
Okay, yeah, that checks out. I thought like if I put it on my table, it wasn't going to work. But,
now that I think, well, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, does it work or doesn't it? You don't really know how many it's repelling. I still get bug bites when there's a citronella candle around, but I don't know if that's because I'm O positive blood and they like me.
I just bought...
Nothing is getting in between a mosquito and my ankles. Let me just tell you that.
Yeah, now
I could wear DEET. I could have a citronella candle. These mosquitoes, they're like, that is exactly what I want.
I got a giant candle I just bought from Costco that I might have to take back now, so thanks for that.
Well, just put it near you. Don't put it away from you. It's just some people think, oh, if I put these candles over here, they just won't come into my yard, but that's not how it works. So
Fair enough.
Anyway, someone in the chat said citronella is a scam. My whole life has been a lie. Well, it's how you use it. So maybe your whole life isn't a lie. Maybe it is. I don't know. So basically, we've been smothering ourselves in chemicals, surrounding ourselves with chemicals that are essentially ineffective or not as effective as they used to be in repelling bugs. And, maybe they're giving us other seizures and other issues, and we don't even know that. But, I just worry about Google. I always worry about big tech and what they're up to. This is just giving, the same thing with the ticks, and then there's always the tick issue, then they're coming out with a vaccine. Like anytime that the CDC is involved in big tech and big pharma and all them get together, it can't be good. That's all I'm saying. So it can't be good. We'll keep an eye on this. And certainly if they come out with some, in a few years, there's going to be some vaccine against the, whatever this is called, Aedes aegypti mosquito or something. And, people will be rolling up their sleeves for it. Like for a cheeseburger, they'll roll up their sleeves for a free cheeseburger, free fries at McDonald's, just like last time.
It was Shake Shack.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, you know how I feel about cruises. Also very wary about cruises. I say it all the time. You couldn't pay me to go on one. And now there is a cruise, not that this is really a new phenomenon, but now there's a cruise going viral that is called the Freedom Ship. And 50,000 people can now live on it. This isn't just you go on a cruise vacation. This is a permanent living situation, or at least semi-permanent living situation. And it is $16 billion. It is a mile-long ship. It is capable of carrying 80,000 people. However, all 80 wouldn't be living there permanently. 50,000 people would live there permanently. 10,000 would be just tourists. And there would need to be room for the 20,000 crew members. But they say this, that the Freedom Ship is envisioned as a permanently mobile city at sea, designed for long-term residents rather than short-term travel. And again, this ship is about 8 times the size of the current largest ship in the world, which is Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas. 8 times the size of the biggest one currently. And on this cruise, they are planning to have a 15,000 seat stadium. They're going to have schools. They're going to have colleges, shops, clubs, a water park, a music hall, museums, parks, and more. The ship would run on nuclear, and it would be so large it wouldn't be able to dock. It would just remain in international waters, which begs the question, how are you getting on that thing? You're just parachuting in, you're helicoptering in,
you're Carnival cruising, actually.
You Carnival cruise in, and then you hop back on. So this thing is just going to stay out there forever, which, if this is possible, then why did people get off the hantavirus cruise? Just like, you're quarantined in the perfect place. You're on a ship in the middle of nowhere. So anyway, this is wild to look at these renderings. I mean, that is a massive, massive stadium, 15,000 seats. I don't know about that. And then someone in the chat just said, sounds great until hantavirus strikes. Well, you'd have everything you needed. You can go to college. Well, if hantavirus, if you get it, you're dead in about 2 days, but
Neurovirus is rubbing its hands together going, we got him.
Neurovirus loves the look of this. Neurovirus is thinking, I could get used to this. I could stay here. I could spread here. Yeah, that's looking good. I mean, there's a concert hall. It looks very nice. What is this, like a sports betting? There's gambling. I mean, what more could you want? So this would be a 2-year voyage. You'd live on it for 2 years. That's pretty crazy.
Like an average lease, usually,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to live, it's just 2 years. What's 2 years? I would never do this. Someone in the chat said, live in international waters? Yeah.
This feels like an Apple TV show.
Yeah, the renderings are very futuristic and kind of scary. It just looks a little, I mean, again,
the idea of it is
what
fun.
Could go right?
Yeah, like the idea is fun, but the execution, there's no way it's that like magical out there.
I mean, there's going to be hospitals, there are going to be ships, shops, restaurants, museums. Like, are they going to change the exhibits? I guess they have to. For 2 years? I don't know. Like, all of this is, they had a 15,000 seat stadium as if, and they showed a soccer game. Like, they're going to just like helicopter soccer teams in to play?
Sure. Anything's possible in a render.
This is just the plans. It doesn't have to go to plan. I thought that this was crazy. So they're going to have green spaces. There's going to be an airstrip for small planes. Of course, they have a focus on sustainability. And, there's going to be nuclear power involved. What could go wrong? What could go right?
Do we just put the villages out there?
I think people who are willing to be a guinea pig for this, why not? Let's see what happens. It's not going to be me. Kiss McGroin said, who's delivering the mail?
It gets forwarded per the chopper.
Who has mail these days?
I get bills. That's about it. My mom sends me stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't really get mail. I mean, unless I'm ordering a package, but I'm sure they can, figure out a way.
It's usually lost by USPS by the time I'm supposed to receive it. So, like,
Yeah, can I rant about something for a second?
full send.
So at my apartment complex, there's a little mail room. And my apartment complex has now put a sign out saying, don't leave packages in the mailroom. If it can't fit in the Amazon locker, you got to bring it to the door of the apartment. None of these lazy asses are bringing the packages to the apartment doors. So they're just not bringing it. I've had 3 packages lost now because there's a sign saying, don't leave the package here. So they don't leave it at all. So now I ordered a pair of shoes for my bachelorette that I'm going on this weekend. Those are nowhere to be found. I have no idea where they are.
Is this USPS or like UPS, FedEx?
I don't know.
Okay.
It was just, I have 3 Amazon packages that are lost in the ether.
That's tough. That is the worst.
And I don't know where, I think my best course of action, these packages are somewhere. I don't know where they are. Like, where do they get sent when they don't get delivered? Back to sender?
There's
Do they
probably a
go to
return
the
sender? And then I know there's like a lost mail. I don't even like a warehouse where like all the lost mail goes, and then they like auction it off like at the end of X amount of years or whatever. I'm so anti USPS. They lose everything.
And my thing is, for me to track down where this package is, and then who knows if it's even there. Let's say I go to this warehouse. With what time? I ordered this because I don't want to go get it myself.
I recently sent my mom like a birthday card, and she received it in like pieces, like a samurai had fruit ninja'd it out of the air. I couldn't tell you how that happened. Like, what are we doing? It's just the mail's been around forever, and for some reason it is terrible.
Yeah, no, I haven't had very positive experiences as of late. And I'm just frustrated because if the mail people were allowed to leave the packages, certainly that comes with its own issues because people steal and people, whatever, and it's left out in the elements. And I've had issues that way too. But at least if you leave it there, I can pick it up. If you don't leave it there and you don't deliver it to my apartment, where does it go? I guess they just don't deliver it.
Just keep it and send it back, I would assume.
Yeah. And how does that help me? It doesn't.
The group mail situation at like condos and apartments and stuff is just the worst.
Did I ever tell the story about my package situation at my apartment in Nashville?
No, you didn't tell me at least.
Okay, well, here's another mail story. So, another mail rant. So, my apartment complex in Nashville, there's a lot of building going on in Nashville. So, this was my first apartment, and there was a big crane next door because they were building a hotel next to our apartment complex. And the crane was leaning a little bit. It was like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And people were getting concerned that the crane was not installed correctly, it wasn't stable, and they were nervous that the crane was going to fall into our building, which wouldn't have been great. And my apartment was facing this leaning crane. Not good. And they said, we'll pay for your rent. Essentially, you don't have to pay rent if you stay or if you leave. So there was like a whole situation. Everyone in our building was staying, going, whatever. I just thought, when it's my time to go home, God will take me when it's my time. I'm not going to leave my apartment. I'm just not. Whatever happens, happens. That's my mentality. So I wasn't going to leave my apartment. So unfortunately, a lot of people that worked at the apartment complex were on strike because they didn't want to work at a building that could potentially get hit by the crane. Were we going to get hit? We weren't going to get hit by the crane. They just wanted an excuse to not go to work. So
Classic.
This is, so now no one in maintenance is at the building, no one at the front desk, etc. So we also had a situation, and this wasn't really a problem for me because I didn't drive, but our garage door was broken. So people who didn't live in our apartment complex could drive in and park, and homeless people would come and walk up our thing and stay in our parking garage. Not great.
Oh, fun.
And then because everyone was on strike, you would call and no one would answer the phone. Great. So I had ordered, because this was right after I had moved, I got settled, but I wanted a new bed. I wanted a new mattress. I needed a new box spring. I needed all this new stuff, new bedding. And I thought, new year, new me. I'm going to splurge on some Crate and Barrel bedding, and I'm going to go big or go home. And I went big. So I spent, more than I probably should have on bedding. And I was excited, but because there was no one working in the building, I had all these massive packages that I couldn't carry by myself. Normally, when someone's working at the front desk, they have a dolly that I can borrow and put things in the elevator. Well, because no one was working, those dollies were locked in the office and I couldn't access them. So, I had a bed and bedding and everything, but all my new stuff was just sitting in the mailroom. I couldn't pick it up myself. And, I didn't know anyone that could come help me or anything. So it was just sitting there. New Year's Eve, I'm working at Fox because they had the Fox News. They had like a Nashville, hub for New Year's Eve. So I was working late and I came home late. And I wasn't like going out or anything. I was working, but I came home late and I was sort of like stumbling into my apartment, very tired. And I looked over and I saw that the door was open, the door to the closet with the dollies. And I thought to myself, oh, I guess someone worked today because it's New Year's Eve and they thought maybe there'd be issues or something. And I said, perfect, it's going to be open. I'll go down first thing in the morning and get all my packages up. Well, I go down first thing in the morning. Guess what? There is a bloodbath in the package room. There's blood everywhere. It looked like someone had bled out into the package room. And we had a little gift wrapping station with like wrapping paper and scissors and stuff. The homeless people had gotten into our apartment complex because the gate was open. They got inside. Someone must have let them in because there was no one working the door. And they decided to ransack our mailroom. And they took the scissors from the wrapping thing and they were probably going through it like crazy people. And there's blood everywhere. They must have cut themselves and just kept going through packages. So there's blood all over the floor. And I see that all the packages have been ripped through, stolen. There's a bunch of empty boxes, empty bags. Thankfully, because my stuff was a mattress, a box spring, it was too heavy for them to pick up and take. So they didn't. They did take my bedding, unfortunately. They could pick that up. So they did take my expensive bedding. But they weren't able to take my mattress and stuff. So anyway, there's blood everywhere. Obviously, this was like, there was broken glass in the lobby and all that. So I call the people who are supposed to be working at the apartment complex. They're nowhere to be found because they're still on strike. I had to call the police, make a police report. Nothing ever happened. I had to, pay for new bedding and all that. So, yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That was, I thought there was going to be a happy ending. That's on me.
Someone in the chat is complaining about my story time. Listen to someone else's fucking podcast then. Or why don't you make a podcast and you can complain about what you want to complain about? This is my show. So I can complain about my mail problems. And let's go to scrolling time.
And speak on this is that just like the word boy has racist undertones due to history, the word girl does as well. So if you're a white woman and you refer to women as, hey girl, don't do that with black women. You don't see men that are not blatantly racist going up to black men, calling them boy. So why do we think that it's okay to use the word girl? And it's just, I think it's something that doesn't cross a lot of our minds for whatever reason. We just think it's a boy thing. But slave owners called their slaves girl and boy. So maybe take that out of your vocabulary altogether and start calling girls girlfriend, something else. There's things that you may not realize are actually harming people, but that doesn't take away the fact that it is harming them, because even though it's not your intent, it's still happening. This is why understanding Black history is so important. This is why constantly educating ourselves is so important. We didn't learn enough in school, and what we did learn, a lot of us forgot. Constantly educating yourself is key.
You're just not educated, so this is why we can't use the words boy and girl. And if you do, you're not educated. According to this woman. Of course, it's a white savior complex woman who decides to, read up on, I don't know what, African-American history And, just because slave owners called their slaves boy and girl doesn't mean that we have to remove those words from our vocabulary. That's not what they mean. The words girl and boy are referring to the children, boy and girl. This is what they mean. These are humans these are based on their gender. This is based on their biological sex. These are what the words mean. Just because people get offended by them doesn't mean that they're wrong. They're not wrong. And I have been calling people girl since high school. This has never been about race. I never thought about this context because why would I? But I have always said, hey girl. I've never called someone boy, hey boy, but like bro. Do you call people boy? No.
No.
It's more so girl. People don't say hey boy. Hey girl.
Yeah.
Girl, please.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
girl.
Yeah, for sure.
Girly pop.
Yeah. I feel like I walk into my house and scream, "What up, girl?"
What up, girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's never been
Filthy
about
racist.
race.
Now I have to stop because racism.
Well, girls are of all races. Girls are of all races. If you say, hey, girl, it has nothing to do with their skin color, unless you ask this woman. They just want to silence white people, essentially. And cancel culture has scared enough people into submission where they walk on eggshells all the time as to not offend someone or be like accidentally racist, bigoted, homophobic, transphobic, xenophobic. Like they're so afraid of being called these things. I don't care. Most normal people don't care. It's exhausting. This is why you can't pander to these people. When you see something like this, you can't be like, oh, wow, they have a good point. Oh, wow, I shouldn't do that. Oh, man, I'm a bad person. They'll have you convincing yourselves that you're a bad person for saying, hey, girl. You're racist for saying, hey, girl. No, it's 2026. Everything is racist, including white girls who get hair extensions, apparently. And as a white girl who has hair extensions, I'd like to watch this and respond. Let's see how I'm so racist and horrible. Listen.
Something that always makes me go, wow, is the prices that 8.5 by 11 women are willing to pay for a weave. And the only reason that they pay such high prices, most times to get a bad weave, no shade, is because they don't want to be associated with weave the same way black women are. See, 8.5 by 11s don't even call it weave. They call it extensions and all these other terminologies they call it because they don't want to be associated with weave the same way black women are. And they be paying like 3K, 6K, and they get stuff like Rose. All because they don't want to be labeled as weave warriors. Oh, I'm wearing extensions. What? That's a weave. And I'm telling y'all, the prices they pay, and they wear wigs too. For people that act like they don't know, they wear wigs too. And they will pay 10K for a wig that looks like a hat. And they don't care because as long as they don't get associated with weave like black women, they'll pay whatever.
So my question is, why do they care if white women are paying more than they are for the same hair? And it's not the same hair, but wouldn't they like that if they're getting a deal and white people have to pay more money? Like, isn't that, sort of like reparations? They get the deal on hair extensions and we don't. Like, isn't that what they want? They want like cheaper everything, free this. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. I have never in a million years, because I get hair extensions because it would look very bad if I didn't on this show. People ask me all the time, why do you get hair extensions? I don't need hair extensions. My hair is as long as my extensions. It's for thickness on camera. I have very thin hair, but it looks bad on camera. So anyway, most people that you see on TV, if you watch Fox, or you watch, Newsmax or whatever, or any news network for that matter, or anyone in TV, any famous person, they've got a wig on or they've got some kind of hair extensions because it just looks bad on camera. With these lights and everything, especially if there's an LED screen behind you, you'll look bald. And nobody wants to look bald. Especially if you're a woman. You don't want to look bald. So I have hair extensions and they are very expensive, but I think mine are like $1,000. And then I have to pay like $300 every 8 weeks to get them moved up when my hair grows. It's very expensive.
I'm going to be honest. I thought my haircut was expensive and now I'm going to just shut up.
Yeah. And that doesn't include haircut or color.
Yeah. Like my haircut's like $50 and it pains me every 4 months that I go and do it.
Oh, because you don't go that often. Like some guys get their hair cut.
Can't keep up. Down in South Florida, the fade, I can't keep up.
Right, because
can't be me. It's so
you
expensive.
have to go so often.
At my prime, I was paying $40 every 2 weeks.
$40 every 2 weeks. Yeah, this stuff adds up. This is It's expensive. Certainly, I could save money if I didn't have hair extensions, but I would look horrible on camera. So it is what it is.
Well, I'll show you where to make out your reparations check too.
Thank you. Someone said, "Why don't you do clip-ins?" I used to, but it's just nicer to have them in your head. It's much easier. I used to do the clip-ins every day, and then after a while, they just get nasty, and then you have to like wash. It's just easier to have them on your head. You wash them when you go to the shower. Anyway, long story short, but it's very expensive. I have never once in my life thought, oh, let me pay more money so that I could not do it the way that black people do it. We have different hair. So we have different needs. Like no black person has as thin of hair as I do. We all have our issues. And if I had the same weave that they did, my hair would rip out of my head. And like, this is why we do things differently, because it's not that I want to do them differently. It's not that I want to pay more money. We have different needs. It's not about race. It's just not about race. But according to them, everything is about race. So.
Well, because they think everything is about race. So they really think that everybody just runs around
exactly
thinking about race.
Someone said your extensions look very natural. I do that on purpose. I do like the natural look. But I'm getting new ones because you can only have them for about a year. And mine are going to be blonder, longer. I'm going to look a little different in a few weeks. So just get ready, everyone. I'm going to be a little blonder. I think I'm going to do bangs. I'm like, my friends from home were like, are you going through something? I know you guys hate bangs. Guys hate bangs, but I don't care. So.
We'll talk later.
We'll talk about this later at trivia. We'll talk about the bang situation. All right, next video. This woman.
First all gender bathroom. 31 stars available.
All gender bathroom.
Anybody can go anywhere. That's a man. Okay.
My
This
question
is happening.
exactly.
Have you ever been in an all gender restroom? This your first one? This is my first one, especially in the airport.
Kentucky interviews.
What?
It's different.
What about you? All gender. You ever been in all gender?
This is my first time. I was kind of thrown off.
You was kind of thrown off?
I'm like,
I don't know, but you was walking fast. You enjoyed it.
it's kind of cool though.
It is?
Either side.
Either side. Okay, thanks. Okay, ladies, it's happening. Did y'all know this was all gender?
Yeah. We're doing makeup in an all gender.
This is my first time. I'm like,
I stopped and
me too.
I was like, am I going the right?
No, I did like this. That's okay. I know that's a girl. That's a boy. And I'm okay with whatever, but you just threw this on us.
It's weird.
It's progressive here, though.
I know. Yeah.
And then you doing your makeup and a man in there pissing.
Man walking by it. So
And you cute, though. You cute, though. I'll tell you that.
ones are the ones.
Yeah, but the doors are sealed completely, so that's a good thing since we got all gender. So can't nobody creep in and see that through them doors. The man went in that one. That's the thing. Oh, you said obviously a man went in that one. Oh, there go a man, y'all. Okay. Hey, sir, in the all gender bathroom.
So I'm not a fan of filming in the bathroom at all.
We legitimately were in here like somebody whips their phone out in the bathroom. We have to fight now.
This is a crime. You can't do that. You cannot do that. So I'm not for this. However, it is funny that she kind of whipped out her phone and then just started interviewing people. Like, this is your first all-gender bathroom experience. How you feel? Nobody likes it. Nobody said, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, the majority of people, again, this is why the majority of society cannot bend to this little minute portion of society that is out of their minds. Why? The majority of people do not want to go to the bathroom in an all-gender bathroom. I don't want to go to the bathroom and see men in there. And men probably don't want to go to the bathroom and be uncomfortable in front of women. Vice versa. These women doing their makeup. Even the woman said, she's like, you're doing makeup and men are pissing over there. It's unnatural.
I saw Jasmine in the
Unnatural.
chat really bring in the heater. Let's not film in the bathroom. Agreed.
100%. Let's not film in the bathroom. Like, absolutely, she's in the wrong, but I do not agree with all gender bathrooms either. However, I do appreciate that they're all the way down to the ground. When there's a gap in the bathroom, I'm like, this is just, I feel violated.
That's what makes Bucky special.
Buc-ee's is perfect, but it's all still men and women's.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I like having the privacy. Nobody wants to not feel like they're in a private area when they go to the bathroom. It's just ridiculous. But this brings up the gender bathroom debate. And I truly believe the only way to make this problem go away, and it won't go away completely, but obviously men and women need to go to separate bathrooms. Every single new build, this is if I ran the world and if I was president and if I was in charge of fixing this problem, I would say the way to fix the gender bathroom debate is to, in all new builds, have single stalls and that's it. And in the single stall, there's a hand washing station, so there'll be a sink. Everyone gets their own everything and nobody's in the bathroom with anybody else. That's the only way that you can get away with this. That would still cause issues.
How many, logistically speaking, we're at a stadium. How many single stall bathrooms do you have to? Enough is the answer. Got it.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You can't even tell the transgender community, oh, why don't you use this bathroom? They'll barge their way into the women's bathroom because they feel like they belong there, because they're convinced that they are actually female, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to go into the all gender bathroom anyway. They don't want to go into the single stall. They are forcing their way into women's spaces because they're mentally ill.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. This is why all bathrooms need to be single, so that there's no choice. You don't give them the choice to go to the bathroom with one or the other. Everyone's going to the bathroom alone. That's the only solution.
Yeah. I mean,
you went to this. Didn't you go to this?
I went to this airport and I walked past a gender neutral bathroom and was like, yep, nope, we're good.
Yeah.
It was a connection. So actually, no, it wasn't. We did the day there. So, but yeah, that airport was weird.
Bizarre. Totally bizarre. And I have noticed there was a bar in New York City that I used to go to. What was it called? I forget. Anyway, they decided, this was after 2016 and everyone went, stupid. But they turned the women's bathroom into the all gender, and then the men had their own. I think because of the urinal situation. So then it's like,
that feels so bogus.
But this is how it goes anyway. Because
yeah.
the only people dying to go into the women's bathroom are transgenders.
And that's the thing, is it's like benefiting like maybe like two people that fly through,
yeah.
And then it's just making everybody else miserable. They're getting filmed in the bathroom. They can't wear their hat in peace,
It's ridiculous. And then it's the single stall situation too, or solution, would also help parents, because how many times is there a mom with a son and she wants to go into the men's bathroom to help him, or vice versa, she wants to bring the boy into the women's restroom to help him. It's like single stalls for everyone, okay? Like, there's nothing wrong with a family style larger bathroom situation. Like, that just needs to be the way that we go. Speaking of airport shenanigans though, this Boeing 767 left Newark Airport, and I'm saying this because I'm flying into Newark tomorrow. And we've covered a United flight flying into Newark that almost hit the telephone pole. So I'm very excited. Once we start to land, I'm gonna have my phone out just in case I die, and then everyone will know. Hopefully, they'll be able to recover my phone recording if that happens.
We'll see what we can do.
We'll see. But I'll send you my flight information.
Because we have one passenger that seems to be making a funny joke that isn't so funny, and it's going to be compromising the safety of this flight. We're going to be returning back to Newark at this time. Unfortunately, because of one person who doesn't want to comply with the instructions, and because of the foolishness of this one person that wants to make a joke and it's not funny, and it's compromising the integrity and the safety of not only this crew but all the other passengers. So at this time, unfortunately, we're going to be making our return back to Newark. It's going to be a little over an hour, and we will address the passenger, and the federal agents will be coming on board, and they will be doing a search for the person that thought that this was funny, and which is a very serious issue. we're not going to be taking this very lightly.
So if you could hear the captain there, he said, this was a flight from Newark, New Jersey to Spain. And they got over the Atlantic, and then they were about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours into the flight. And then they had to turn around because there was a discoverable Bluetooth device, and it was either a fitness tracker or some kind of a speaker or something that was named Bomb. Or it was something like Bomb. They said it was a 4-letter, I think it was Bomb.
Gotta be.
It's gotta be Bomb. What else would make them freak out like that? They said it was a 4-letter word. So it's gotta be something like that. So everyone was predicting that it was Bomb. And the crew said to everyone on the flight, disable all Bluetooth devices. And everyone disabled their Bluetooth device, and then Bomb was still there. Also, would a terrorist name their Bluetooth device Bomb?
That's not a funny joke.
It's not a funny joke.
Because I get people that name their Wi-Fi routers funny stuff.
Something stupid. Yeah.
And that's funny. Haha. But Bomb.
Also,
where would you get a laugh at that?
I don't really understand what this device was. Just because you have a fitness tracker on, I wear
It's probably a Bluetooth speaker, like a JBL or something.
On a flight?
Yeah, just it clicked on during. Probably intentionally turned on, I would say.
Maybe. It just seems odd. I don't know what kind of Bluetooth device that you would have on a flight that would be turned on. I just don't understand that.
We're going to do a small amount of research real quick and see if we can figure out what the device was specifically.
I looked into it. They said it was maybe a fitness tracker or some kind of discoverable device, which is odd.
My Fitbit named Bomb that won't go off.
That's the thing where it's
bogus.
Why are you even naming it that? And, so anyway, on the flight, the pilots said, everyone turn off your Bluetooth devices, and everything was off except for Bomb. And so then you heard the pilot saying, we've got to turn around. This is very serious. And I don't know if this is a joke or what, but we're taking this very seriously, as they should. So they came back. Everyone that was on the flight was rescreened by TSA and Customs and Border Protection. Then they were identified and investigated by Port Authority police. They found out that it was a teenager. It's reported that it was a 16-year-old guy, and he didn't realize that he had that on. He didn't realize that it was called Bomb. He didn't realize that it was discoverable. He admitted that it was his device, and he forgot that he had named it that, and he wasn't intentionally doing it. This is kids doing stupid shit. So
enjoy the no-fly list, kid.
Yeah. So just really stupid. Anyway, 9 hours later, unfortunately this flight was able to take off on another aircraft. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Ooh, somebody in the chat said maybe it was named Boom. Boom.
Boom?
Boom.
Maybe.
That's a good guess. Who was that? That was S.A. Morgan.
That is a good one, because people were guessing in the chat that he spelled boob wrong. But I don't think any 16-year-old boy would spell boob wrong. I think they'd be pretty intentional if that's what they were trying to do. But yeah, maybe boom. That makes sense. Yeah, just crazy. Well, I'm getting on my flight tomorrow. So wish me luck. Say a prayer for me that nothing like this happens. I'm flying into Newark. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. I will have a show tomorrow. No show on Friday. And then I will see you back here on Monday as well. So just a reminder, tomorrow, Monday, but no show Friday. And I will see you then. You can follow me on social media in the meantime at Hayley Carania, and I'll see you.